Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana. Let's get into this. So, I have my notes, right? I have a little bit of notes, and I'm doing a little bit of this research, right? If this is your first time tuning in, then I will have you know we are phasing through a segment where we are doing research on numbers and how they correspond to the sightings of UFO spacecrafts or reports of alien interaction and or abduction, okay? And we're comparing these numbers to birth and death dates of prominent figures, dates of traumatic weather events, dates that bills are passed. We're also including location, and when we say location, we are going to be referring to the coordinates. And we're just going to be comparing this, to a lot of different cycles that we are undergoing. So we've gone over the cosmic cycle. And before I get into this, the creator wanted me to say something real quick, okay? In this spiritual walk, you have to be prepared for people to spiritually attack you. That's just what it is, okay? Your job is to stay connected to the creator and allow him to do what he does. Allow him to be God, right? But don't be worried or fret if you have been attacked, okay? I'm going to tell you something. I don't know if these people know this, but when people spiritually attack you, right, they only get whatever you would have gotten from that level, okay? Let's say God wants you to be at level 1,000 and the attack started at level 10, right? They only get the blessings of what would have come. And this is in the event that the attempt was successful, right? They were able to pull and scry and manifest off of your energy, okay? This is what happens when you start to heal, you start to work on everything the creator wants you to work on, and you're being obedient, and you're becoming more aligned. A lot of things start to happen. First of all, they get your karma, okay? They get the karma whether you align or not, but when you heal, they get the karma. They get your karma that comes with that level. They get karma for stealing, okay, for committing spiritual crimes. Not only do they have to reimburse you the energy, so they're also losing, whether it's money, energy, whatever it is they're losing, they have to reimburse that. They lose out on so many of their gifts, their spiritual gifts. That's a major part of the loss as well. Okay, so don't trip. Don't worry about it. Allow people to assume that they're winning. I don't even think people realize that this stuff is short-lived, okay? They may get something, they may get off with it for a few years, and the only way that they can continuously benefit is if you're allowing them to, okay? Or if they are actually attempting to feed you some of your own energy on their own accord without being told to do so, okay, without warning. Meaning, let's say someone steals your energy, they hit the lottery for 100 million and they give you like 25 million, something like that, okay? The creator wanted me to say that. I don't know why, but okay. So yeah, we have this cycle, right? These cycles within cycles. Remember, the cosmic cycle is like the granddad, okay? It's a cycle that goes on in the cosmos anywhere from 225 to 250 million years, okay? And then there's a bunch of different cycles under that, right? Now, I wanted to focus on this lunar solar cycle. This is the one that is 33 years, okay? So when you think of this cycle, think of the wormhole activation. Remember, we talked about that. This is the cycle where the sun and the moon is aligned, right? This is after the 33-year period of all these different celestial bodies moving around. And this is where the earth orbits the sun and the moon orbits the earth, okay? This is the 33-year period, 33 into 34 years, okay? When you think lunar, solar, think moon and sun together, okay? Now, we talked about this number 11, and I wanted to get into that a little bit. Now, this 11-year cycle is the solar cycle, right? This is where they started taking Spreaker in 1755. That's the first cycle, okay? We are currently in cycle 25, okay? Cycle 25. Okay, that's where we are right now. So these cycles are basically based on sightings of spots being on the sun, and then they count the spots, and the amount of spots, the larger the amount of spots observed, or the larger the amount, this is considered the peak, okay? Now, in 2023, okay, this particular peak was actually projected to be at its peak in July of 25, but experts are finding out that the peak actually is gonna be sooner than they predicted, okay, which is more gonna be along the lines of January through October of 2024. Okay, now we started doing a little bit of research, and of course I just wanted to throw some facts out there so we can start putting these little pieces together, because it's going to be weird, but we need to go over this so when it comes back up, we know what we're talking about, okay? Now, okay, wait, before we do that, now the solar cycle is the sun's magnetic field, right? It's when it flips. So north becomes south, south becomes north. That's that 11-year period, right? 22 years is the full solar. So just imagine solar, sun, 11 being half, and then full solar being the full cycle, right? 22 years. Basically, they switch back, okay? Where north goes back to being north and south goes back to being south. Then that 33-year period comes around, okay? It's another 11 years. That is the lunar solar, okay? This is where the moon and the sun aligns. That is going to be important because we're going to be putting some things together. Now, remember, we were just picking some things apart, doing a little research, and going over numbers and how they, basically correlate. So I just wanted to go over some numbers that are important, not even important to the universe, but just some really interesting things that I think we should highlight before we move forward. Okay, number one, birthdays, okay? The most rare birthday is December 25th, Christmas Day, January 1st, New Year's Day, Christmas Eve, 12/24, July 4th, 7/4, Independence Day, 12/26, the day after Christmas, and then that combination of Thanksgiving dates, it's like how they're jumbled up. That depends on the leap year, if it's cosmic year, if it's a solar or lunar year and all of that stuff. Remember, the lunar is 354 days. And the solar is 365 days, okay? Just keep that in mind. Now, this is where it started getting interesting. No one died. No one is reported to have died from September 3rd all the way through September 13th during the year of 1752. Okay? Why is that interesting, you say? Because the Julian calendar was replaced by the Gregorian calendar. Okay? This is where the formula to calculate leap years was changed. Okay? And then the new year was legally moved from March 25th to January 1st. Okay, this is where 11 days was removed from September. So I think that's really, really weird that this same exact time frame, nobody died during those days. I think they erased history. I don't know. Okay, you can do what you want with that information, but yeah, that's crazy. Next. Excuse me. Common birthdays, okay? September 9th, and it's in this order, okay? The most common, from the most common to the least, okay? September 9th, September 12th, September 17th, September 10th, July 7th, September 20th, September 13th, okay? Those are the most common birthdays, okay? We went over the most rare. Now, 385,000 babies are born on average daily, okay? So that's approximately 140 million babies born a year, okay? Projections show that by 2056 it's going to be approximately 10 billion people on Earth, okay? Again, that is important, okay? February is said to be the most rarest month to be born, okay? And then there's a split between April and June, and then July and October for the most babies being born. So we could just say from April to October, the most babies are born, okay? All of that is important because we're going to be going over some numbers, and this is going to make sense as we start to investigate, okay? So I think you guys should look into the Julian calendar being replaced by the Gregorian calendar, and these days that no one died from September 3rd to the 13th during the year of 1752. Crazy. Okay, now before we go, let's just look at some important years as far as history is concerned. Okay, 1863, Emancipation Proclamation. 13th Amendment. It was passed by the Senate in 1864 and by the House in 1865. Also, the official date that, of course, we know as June 19th, which is Juneteenth, that also happened in 1865. American Civil War, 1862. World War I, 1918. World War II. I'm sorry. One happened from 14 to 18, and then two from 1939 to 1945. Let's just start doing some research, but I'm going to end it here because we're running out of time. But I do love you guys. I hope y'all are drinking your water, eating y'all fruit and vegetables, sipping on your own tea because it's free, alright? But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. It's the last Saturday of the year, alright? Love y'all. Stay blessed. Peace.